What's going on, everybody? It's your host, thanks to most, Wayne's Word, and I'm back again with another episode to give y'all. And I want to speak on domestic violence. I'm going to make this a part two because I recently spoke about this before, but there was a lot of things that was left unsaid that I feel like I need to address as well. Before I begin, I'd like to give a thank you to everyone once again who follows, supports, and interacts with this podcast. You're very much appreciated. I'm glad to have you along this journey with me as I continue to give you my thoughts on what I feel like needs to be spoken about. I'm talking friendships, relationships, situationships, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get to it. I want to talk about how come, this is between men and women usually, but how come women are not held to the same standard that men are when it comes to domestic violence? We're not held to the same standard. Excuse me, I'm sorry, misspoke. They're not held to the same standard. See, everywhere I look online, down the streets, in the cut, there's always a domestic violence shelter for women. We don't see too many for men. We do not see too many domestic violence shelters for men, and I wonder why, because I'm starting to feel like maybe as men, we're supposed to accept being hit. Because I see there's a lot of women who stalk men, continue to hit on men, continue to find other people to jump on men, even when the man don't want to deal with them no more, and they feel like they're not ready to let that man go. They tend to start shit also. Like, people keep thinking that the Dre Hughes situation was just an isolated situation, where it's actually not. That's not an isolated situation, because there's plenty of men who actually go through that, who don't hit their women back, who actually accept it, because if they don't accept it, sometimes they might be looked at as a punk. Or is it, oh, why you got shorty hitting on you? Why you get to stand the third? And then the moment he defends himself, he's considered abusive. Now, what if he's somewhere where there's no way for him to escape? No. He don't have an outlet to escape the same person that's constantly abusing him. And I know exactly the type of woman I'm talking about as well. I'm not saying about the women who don't put their hands on them. Obviously, not talking about that. We're talking about the women who have a habit of, whenever they want to get their point across or anything, they got a habit of putting the finger in the face, the mushing, all the other shit. Those type of women. Now, when a man gets tired of that keep happening every time she has to speak her mind or she's upset about something, and he retaliates, he's considered abusive. But the same women who put their hands on a man, are they considered abusive? Or are they just passionate about how they feel? It's the double standard that comes with domestic violence. Because if a man hits a woman and goes to jail, he gets pretty lengthy time. But if a female goes to jail for domestic violence, she's probably out in a couple of days. Probably maybe a month, maybe. Depends on how bad the situation is. But they usually get the slap on the wrist. I've seen women that get mentally abused that gets admitted into these shelters and places like that, or have people that go to because they're being mentally abused. And who's to say it's not often that men are being abused also? A lot of them can't say anything because how would they look? Because once again, we're told not to be all up in our feelings a lot. We're told not to be in our feelings a lot. We are told not to be in our feelings a lot. Now, if a lot of men was actually to say exactly how they're feeling if they're being mentally abused, because I feel like if we were to talk down on a woman and say, excuse my French, that you ain't doing this, you ain't worth that, Get up and do this, get up and do that. Shut the fuck up. All kind of crazy shit. If we were to literally sit there and say shit like that to them, we would be considered jackasses and disrespectful as people, disrespectful as men to say that to a woman. But yeah, we have women that go around telling that to men, telling that to their spouse. Spouse lose a job. He ain't working a few days. He ain't working a few weeks, a few months, whatever. He considered all this. He ain't shit. He ain't worth nothing. You don't do nothing. There's all kind of shit like that. Like how do we fabricate that? Like how? How do we do it? Like literally say, how do we do it? Like how does that work? There's plenty of mental abuse in that as well. So a lot of times men start feeling down about themselves. And once again, they can't speak on it. All they told it to do is to, well, get up and do this and do that just to change the mindset of the person they're with. Because like I said, they always say it's a better way to talk to women. So and vice versa, it should be a better way to talk to men. I mean, let's be real about it. It should be a better way to speak to a man as well. Even if the man is not doing something up to your par, you can also talk to him a certain way that can build him up to want to, you know what, change the way everything is. Change what's what. See, the fact that we're men, we're told that we're not supposed to have feelings. And the fact the way the world is now, if a man got feelings, it's a problem. If he's upset about something, it's a problem. If he's hurt by something, it gets laughed at. It gets laughed at. If a man is hurt by something nowadays, it gets laughed at, and it's like, come on. See, people don't realize how far mental health can go, and mental abuse is one of the main reasons that can cause mental issues. Mental health, things of that nature can actually cause things like that to happen. Emotional abuse, same way. Works the same way. When a man is not giving enough to a woman, and she's quote unquote trying her best to do this, to do that, love him, no kind of shit, and he's talking about how she can't do nothing for him no more. She's not attractive as much, things of that nature. She starts to feel down about herself, and then some of that self-doubt kicks in. The man would be considered emotionally abusing her, but how many men nowadays also get emotionally abused? See, there's a lot of, excuse my French again, fucked up men in this world. But who's to say these men didn't become that way after being emotionally abused in a relationship before? Like, let's speak on that. How many men were emotionally abused and then became the man they are by not giving a damn about nobody else after? Like, you didn't realize that. Have you ever got with somebody? This goes for women too. Have you ever got with somebody and realized why the fuck they like that? Why they don't give a damn no more, things of that nature. Maybe once upon a time they gave a damn, and then the person they gave a damn about didn't give a damn about them, so now they don't give a damn about nobody else. And now you stuck with somebody who don't give a damn about you, not by choice, but the fact of what happened to them before. And this is where damaged people come into play at. A lot of love and trust gets lost in that cycle. And then at the end of the cycle, you pop up, and then now you have to fight every tooth and nail through this wall and try to change somebody who might not change you because they was emotionally scarred. I'm just saying the fact that men and women need to be held to the same exact standard when it comes to this domestic violence thing. Like I said, it ain't always physical. You don't always have to put your hands on somebody. Because in reality, there's no woman out here that's really supposed to beat a man's ass. I'm sorry. Every man should be able to whoop a woman's ass if it was to come down to a fight because of gender. But there are women out here who whoop some men's ass. Like, let's be real about it. It's women who get it in. And they've been whooping men's asses as well. I'm just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving out my opinions. Let's say that. I'm just giving out my opinion. We have to hold each gender accountable when it comes to domestic violence thing. We have to hold it accountable. We have to hold each other accountable because we can't just make it seem like men are the ones out here that's doing all the abusing. We should have domestic violence shelters for men too. Because like I said, there's plenty of women who stalk men after the relationship is over with because the man couldn't deal with them no more. There's women out here who find a way to keep stirring up trouble with the same guy. Like I said, I don't speak on nothing that I haven't seen or been through. I had one before where I was on the receiving end of some domestic shit. I was on the receiving end in all three phases. I'm not just talking about one phase, but all three phases. I was there once. So I don't speak on nothing I haven't seen or been through. I don't. So for anybody out there that's watching this podcast and listening, understand men go through it too. We should have domestic violence shelters for men as well. This should be something that should be predicated towards women because a lot of times women use the fact that they're women and that they shouldn't be hit on to hit a man. And I'm sorry, like I said, stated once before, my mom's always told me, don't put your hands on a woman. But if she's big enough to want to put her hands on you as if she's a man, if you can't walk away and it's too much to walk away, where you have no way to walk away, where you're like get back into a corner, defend yourself. I'm gonna put it that way. Defend yourself. Whatever happens, happens. But at the end of the day, you have to defend yourself, man or woman, because women out here who do the abusing, remember, when you have sons and the lady they get with decides to do the same thing you did, don't get mad. Tell him to stand there and take his ass whooping because that's what he's supposed to, because he's a man, right? Because he's a man, right? He has to take that ass whooping. This is why y'all constantly get on men. With men, we tell our daughters not to allow another man hit them. We tell them all the time also to defend yourself if a man is hitting you, but we don't want you to hit a man first. We tell our daughters that all the time. See, everybody say just walk away, leave, walk away, leave. How many women try to walk away from an abusive man and couldn't do it? Because there was something about them that they couldn't walk away. Or every time they tried to walk away, he found her. Well, you don't think men out here doing the same thing, trying to get away? Let's talk. You don't think it's men out here trying to do the same exact thing and get away? Nah. Y'all don't think that. Y'all don't think that at all. See, Will Smith, I'm going to give some examples. Will Smith went through an emotional abuse. All these years, he went through it. And he finally let it out. That man got made fun of. I don't think Tyrese was emotionally abused, mentally abused. On top of that, he couldn't see his daughter. You don't think that hurted him mentally? When he decided to let it out, he got laughed at. Kanye West is going through the same thing with Kim. Can't see his daughter, but yet the man let it out, and yet he was made fun of. And you wonder why men have so much hostility, why men try not to show that sensitive side, because of shit like that. They get laughed at. That just shows no matter how much money you got, we all go through the same shit. We all go through the same shit. No matter how much money you got, we all go through the same shit. We go through the same shit, man. We got to hold each other accountable when it comes to domestic violence things. We have to stop it from both sides. Like, we got to teach our women to be women. We got to teach our daughters, our young girls to be women. We got to teach our young men to be men. We got to teach everybody that you don't have to abuse somebody. If you don't want to be with them, you break up with them, things of that nature. You don't put your hands on nobody. You don't emotionally down talk nobody, because mental health is a big thing. Suicide is a big thing. But people start to have self-doubt about themselves as humans inside and out, it can take their life possibly. We got to get it together, man. It's your host, Talk Galore, best known as Wayne's World. You can get at me, you can hit me up on a Gmail at Galore Talk. You can hit me up on Instagram at talk__galore. You hit me on Facebook at the Talk Galore podcast page, or Items Galore as well on Facebook. You can catch this podcast on the YouTube. I'll leave it in the description in the episode box. Catch this video there as well, as we have our interviews and other content there as well, reaction videos that you'll probably like. Then that's about it for now. I'll be back again with another episode because I got some more shit to talk about, because there's a lot that needs to be said, and I'm here to say it. I'm here to say it. I'll see y'all then. Stay safe. Be nice to each other. Love yourselves and love each other.